building that community, making these connections, surprising and delighting your clients, and also like making your brand a little bit more elevated.
Welcome back to Duo On Air. I'm Abby.
And I'm Courtney.
And we're the ex-agency turned entrepreneurial team that puts the Duo in Duo Collective. Our boutique organic marketing agency specializes in SEO, social media strategy, and branding.
We're an everyday pair of business besties / marketing experts obsessed with helping our community learn more about what it takes to run a business.
Which is why on Duo On Air, we're not holding anything back. We're giving you all the info we know about how to grow your business organically so you can be the confident CEO you were made to be.
And how to navigate life as a small business owner.
Whether it's on your own or with your best friend by your side, so grab your coffee
or your mimosa, we don't judge,
and settle in for a quick value-packed episode of Marketing Tips.
Welcome back to the Duo On Air podcast. This is episode number 134, and today we are going to be talking about the little things that can make a big difference in your business and your marketing and how you work with your clients from day to day. This is something that Abby and I have done from day one, and we just continue to grow how we can incorporate these little things that make those big differences within our business. And I think it's rewarding for us too, because we see how much our clients appreciate when we do these little things. And again, when we say little, we're like talking like these are actually pretty little things. Yeah. But all of those little things add up to make a really great client experience. Mm-hmm. And we've heard over and over again that our clients have loved the entire experience with us, that they appreciate these little things, and they really take little to no effort to really take that relationship to the next level and really make that experience something that they enjoy and that they remember. Because if you create these experiences that are memorable and your client is super happy and pleased with the whole process and just those little delight and excitement throughout, you are probably going to have a really strong referral program.
Yeah, for sure.
And that is something that's really great because obviously everybody loves referrals because people trust referrals and it's a really great way to get people into your ecosystem. So
I'd say the majority of these are client service based, but there's a couple of these that regardless of whether you are in a client service industry, I'd say they are still really big ones that you can do, whether you sell a product or a digital product. Mm-hmm. I still think some of these are going to help you in your overall experience too.
Right.
But it's definitely a little heavier client.
Yeah. And building that community, right? So it's really building that community, making these connections, surprising and delighting your clients, and just also making your brand a little bit more elevated. I would say that people love these things about us and people have mentioned these things about us and they're like, gosh, you guys are just so fun because you do this and I can always expect a response here, and you guys are just so conversational, and I feel like you're my friends that I've never actually met or gotten together with, but we constantly are having people say even just sometimes people, I feel like people think we're borderline famous, and Abby and I giggle because we're just we are actually pretty boring human beings.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we're fun, sure, right. But we have normal lives, right? Just celebrities probably have normal lives, but it's just funny.
Normal lives, normal struggles, all the things.
Yeah. So it's just funny when people say those kinds of things.
Yeah. But, and I'd say too, before we jump into what these little tiny things are, these are things that also are kind of embedded even in a workflow for us. So they're things that we make sure, they're little things we make sure we do all the time because we have a process for them. And I think it can be really easy not to do the little things because we forget to do them or because it's not built into a process. So even though they're little, we still have a task for them. They're still a part of the workflow to make sure that we don't miss them because we know that these little things are important.
Yes. And one of the very first things is anytime that we have a client that signs a proposal and is ready to kick things off with us, we send them a little Starbucks coffee gift card because we want them to feel a part of our team. Our brand was built on beverages, tips and sips, all of those things.
It's a part of our brand.
It's a part of our brand. So obviously we want that experience for them to feel like they are brought into our brand. They're a part of us now. They're on our team. Who doesn't love a little coffee? Or if you're not a coffee drinker, Starbucks has those refreshers and everything, or food. So it's just kind of like a little welcome to our team gift. We're so excited to kick things off. And again, it's just that fun surprise and delight that they weren't expecting. And then they get it and they're like, wow, that was so awesome. Thank you so much. And some people are
the
like,
amount of thank yous.
I'm ready.
The amount of thank yous is so fun because it's such a little thing just to send a Starbucks gift card, but people are so pumped about it. And I still remember this. It was so funny. We went to a conference like 2 years ago, and one of the sessions in the conference was creating a pink starburst experience. Like, you know, when you get a pink starburst, like that's creating a best experience. So then they asked, like, who thinks they have a really good experience? And we were like, us, duh. Like, we have a great experience. We feel good about our experience. Yep. So I was like, yeah. So we were talking about some of the things. And one of the things that I said was giving a Starbucks gift card. And one of our friends, our business friends, was in there too. And then like shortly after that, she was like, hey, I need help with SEO. Can we do something? So we started working on a package together. And after she signed the contract, she was like, where's my Starbucks gift card? And I was like, girl, slow your roll. We don't just send it to everyone immediately. We are actually very strategic about when you get it. So for SEO is heavy, like heavy education, heavy learning. So we don't send it until we've sent you some heavy stuff. Like we send you the keyword research, or we send you or go through a big audit walkthrough that's like an hour-long meeting, and we know that afterwards you're exhausted. So sometimes we'll send it right after. Sometimes we'll send it before the meeting so you can prep and be ready for it. So we're really strategic about when we send them for each client, which is kind of fun. So you don't really know when you're going to get it.
So if you sign with us, you're going to get it. You just have to see when.
It was so funny. I was like, slow your roll, girlfriend.
I don't know if you told me that. That's hilarious. She's like, hello.
Yeah. She's like, where's my Starbucks? That's why I signed. I'm like, well, you could have just spent $10 elsewhere. That was funny.
That is awesome. So another one that, oh gosh, this is like a little bit of a newer one for us.
It's probably been a year.
No.
You don't
because
think so?
We started with our old brand, didn't we? We had a design proposal.
Yeah, so I feel like it's been a year. It's July.
I guess. Okay.
We rebranded in January. Maybe it's been half a year since we rebranded. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. It feels longer.
I know.
Anyways, so probably about a year is what Abby's thinking, year plus, whatever. We have design proposals. So I think we actually, did we work with, was it Kleist who we worked with? And we saw that she had this beautiful proposal. And we're like, wait, what? Like the experience was so flawless.
Yeah. The girl did a good job of upselling to us. She's a friend of ours, Sarah Kleist, amazing web designer. We needed some help, like designing some stuff. We didn't have capacity. We're like, hey, we need your help. I think we signed up for a VIP day. Yeah. And so in her beautifully designed proposal, there's an upsell portion there where she's like, do you want a proposal like this? And I was like, yeah. Yes. So it was a click of a button. And after that, I was like, can you make sure that there's some of those upsells on ours too?
Yeah, it was.
Which was genius.
Such a beautiful experience. And it was so flawless and it wasn't clunky. You didn't feel like you went from somebody's beautiful brand to this stale, boring proposal. It was actually an experience, and it's almost like its own web page, and it's like shows you all of these beautiful things. It has a little blurb about us, how we're going to work together, the things that you can sign for the projects you can pick or whatever for the proposal, and then you go through and you sign it. There's a designed contract. It's all just seamless and beautiful and is on brand. It's almost like you're not even leaving that experience to go from one thing to the next because it's so seamless.
Yeah.
And we've had multiple people, like multiple clients that have signed with us. They're like, wow, that was so beautiful and like so well thought and just so easy from like one piece to the next to navigate. It was very clear on brand. So it was very duo and it felt fun. And we have loved it. I mean, I love the experience and just like testing it and going through it. So, that one probably takes a little bit more work to get that whole process set up, the design proposal, the contract, and making sure it's on brand, making sure the functionality of it all works. But once it's there, and it's just a really great experience for anybody that's going through that process with you.
It's one of the reasons that we ended up choosing Dubsado as our CRM too. We have a whole episode on Dubsado, episode number 108, so you can peek at that if you don't know what Dubsado is or if you don't have a CRM tool yet, which is just customer relationship management. That's what CRM stands for. So how are you going to continue to engage with your clients, and what's that experience going to be like? Like, how are you going to manage all of your invoices and send them and manage your contracts and all of that compliance? So Dubsado really specializes in the design piece of it. And as designers, like I'm not a designer, but I can say that collectively.
She can design a mad toddler birthday invite.
I can crush your toddler birthday invite in Canva. But other than that, I'm not your girl. But anyways, go tune into episode 108 because we met with the Dubsado team, walked through the platform. They just launched their mobile app like the last month. So that's been awesome, continuing to grow. And honestly, the design and the branded experience is the reason why we signed up for them, because we can have these little things that make a big difference where people see this experience. In Clay's case, we saw the experience and paid her money to have the experience. Like, that's amazing. But also once we have this experience, like, it helps people who were just going to sign for SEO see some of our branding projects, see what we can do from a branding perspective and consider that. But also it gives us the opportunity to upsell, which is another way to make money, not in a way that doesn't make sense, in a way that feels very strategic. Like, people go through that and wonder, oh, that actually is perfect for me for it to have this like small little additional package. So the design proposals are definitely a good experience, and we've gotten amazing feedback. I don't think a single person has been like, I hated that.
Yeah. Well, and if you did hate it, please let us know.
Yeah, right?
I'd be curious. But yes, it's very lovely.
Another really small little thing is that we really take the effort and the time to respond to emails, especially emails from our email newsletter. So people who respond to our Tuesday tips and sips emails, or to our Friday, like one thing to do for SEO, the SEO squeeze, people who respond to that, even if it's like a question, even if it's just like saying that you love it, whatever it may be, we try to respond to everyone. And it's such a little thing. Yes, it does take more time, and the more your list grows, the harder that's going to be. But the amount of times we've responded and just saying like, thank you for being here, and people being like, wow, I can't believe you responded. Like, thank you. It's like, I know you probably have like a massive list, but it's been so good to nurture our email list. And we truly care about every single person on the list. Like, you signed up, we aim every single week to give you super valuable content. If you respond, I want you to know that we appreciate you. Like, we truly appreciate that you read our content, that you clicked on it, that you're liking it, or whatever question you have, we want to help. Like, that's the whole point of it. So it's such a little thing, but it makes a big difference.
I'm so excited actually when people reply to those emails. Yeah. And Abby gets more replies than I do because she's definitely better at
I've done more of
them. But I'm taking over 50% of it for now to see how it goes. And every time I send out an email, I'm just like, Abby, I hope I get a reply. I hope somebody replies. And if they don't, will you just go to your personal email and reply so I feel better about myself? So don't feel pressured to reply to my emails. But I mean, even if you just want to be like, hey, Court, good job. You're doing good. Keep going. That'd be lovely. But yes, no, we get so excited when people reply to our emails because it's, again, that personal connection. And we're not just out here just trying to like give you all these marketing tips and just like send it out there and like let it be what it is and you can take it and run with it. We actually want to build a community, and we love hearing from our people and the things that are helping them or the things that they're craving, or if they have a question. We're not just going to ghost you. We really want to make that connection and have that conversation with you. Yeah.
And if there's an email you responded to that we didn't respond to, bump it back up. And you're like listening to this and you're like, well, I sent you an email, because sometimes we miss it. And sometimes they go to spam,
which is really unfortunate. So we're constantly checking our spam as well. So we do check our spam, but we could definitely miss it with the buttloads of spam that people seem to get. It's ridiculous.
Too much. That could be a whole episode. Just going through fun spam.
Ooh.
right? I know. And then another small thing too is like answering DMs. We try our hardest to answer all of the DMs in Instagram. Oftentimes I will answer you with a voice message. Like if you have a question about something. Same thing goes in like Facebook communities and Facebook groups and just overall like groups that we're in, the Show It community too. Like when people ask questions about SEO or about branding, we don't aim to sell, we aim to help. Yes. And I think that makes a really big difference is actually just offering your help, because then people want to be in your community. And when you help them, they're likely going to follow you or join your email list or just somehow join your community. And then you have the opportunity to nurture them and sell. Mm-hmm. So that's been something we've really focused on is how can we help people rather than always focusing on, oh, this is an opportunity to sell.
I feel like we aim to help people more than we aim to sell.
Yeah.
Because I think what's worked for us is the more we help, the more we actually kind of quote unquote sell. Because people are so appreciative of us giving this free knowledge. And that's kind of one of our next things is showing up oftentimes for free. But it's us not holding things back, right? We actually want you to learn and we want to educate you and we want to give you these free tips and all of these different things because I think I don't know if it's a Minnesota nice thing or what, but we're like, we kind of want to be your friends, right?
Yeah.
Like we want all of you to be friends with us and to have this open dialogue with us and to build this community. It's really about building a community for us. And we've just found that when we do this and when we have these dialogues and when we give you this free information that it kind of sells for you.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times people are really appreciative for the free information. I mean, there's definitely a line, like you need to make sure people aren't abusing you and you're not spending too much time on it. Like there's obviously a line, but
I feel like we've teetered that pretty well.
Yeah. There have been times where like, I feel like we've had to, shut off the Minnesota Nice and be like, okay, like, yeah, if you want, book a strategy call.
Yes.
Because that's kind of like our big thing for questions is like, we have a strategy call that you can book with us where we sit down for an hour and we go through whatever it is that you want to walk through, whether that's like a brand audit, whether that's SEO, whether that's marketing planning, whether that's, whatever. And we'll do that together. So I'd say if something is going to take, like if we're just talking to someone in our DMs or on Facebook and it ends up turning into like an hour-long conversation in the DMs, then that likely should have been a strategy call. So there's definitely a line there. But we do show up other times in other people's group coaching programs, on people's podcasts, like on other just like memberships and platforms and teach free content for an hour. And we do that because, again, we aim to help, and also it's you getting in front of other audiences, and it's an opportunity for them then to join your community, again, where you could nurture them, and they could turn into a paying client, or they could have a friend that turns into a paying client. Like, the ripple effect is so big when you do that stuff. And at the same time, we have our own membership, and we have people in there where we have guest experts coming in now on like a quarterly basis who are also teaching and giving away their content for free and for the same purposes. And so the more we give and the more we support other people, the more people are going to support us too in our community. So I think that's really important, is that at some point, like, yes, your time is valuable. Mm-hmm. So if you're at a speaking event or if people want you in their program, like maybe set a goal for yourself of like, I'm only going to do this once a quarter, or I'm only going to do this once every other month or something.
Or when you start, don't necessarily charge, but if you're like, okay, this is becoming a thing now, what is my time?
Then it's an offering. Yeah. Yes. Like speaking for sure, like at some point you have enough experience and you should be charging.
Yep.
But there is like, you do have to weigh the pros and cons of like, what could the opportunity be, Mm-hmm. So
yeah, Abby and I have those conversations all the time. We're like, okay, well, if we did this, our goal would be to sign 1 client, 2 clients coming out of it. And then we'll go back and we'll reevaluate, like, was that worth our free time, essentially? Did we bring anybody in, or did, we build a bigger community, or did we get our eyes in front of enough people where this is going to pay off eventually? So I think it's just kind of going into it with these these little goals of what you want to get out of it versus just constantly giving. You should essentially get something back to.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just like kind of showing up, another thing that we started doing a little bit more is showing up locally. So we are part of a membership. We've talked about it before. It's called the 10th House. It's a part of the Female Founders Collective. It's a paid annual membership. The people in this group are phenomenal. We've had multiple people on the podcast come from that group. Multiple people speak to, like, in our membership, and experts come on there as well. Every single person we've engaged with in this community has been just truly great. Everyone aims to help. Everyone's amazing. So there's like a little section at the bottom that's like community events, and then it's always like Chicago, LA, New York. And I'm like, where is Minneapolis? Like, come on. And so then finally I was just like, why don't we do it? Like, if no one's doing it, is there a Minnesota chapter leader? I don't know. So I reached out to her and she was like, no. And then I actually asked, I was like, I don't even see many people from Minnesota. So, like, is anyone there, like, from Minnesota? And she sent me over. She's like, yeah, we actually have, like, I mean, people are spread over all over. But we just had an event yesterday where we met two gals one came from St. Cloud and one came from Duluth. And
that's not even close to Minneapolis. It's
an hour and a half to 2 hours away. And they drove into the city to come to this meeting, which is so amazing. Like, just love that people are craving community. It's so clear. People are craving community so much, and we need to get out of our home, and we need to talk to more people. And again, these aren't salesy. These aren't, like, this is just meeting other entrepreneurs and small business owners in Minnesota, and it is so fun.
And talking about what they do and what their goals are, and, you know, where they've been, like the past, and where they want to go. And then talking about our families and vacations. It's literally like you're just getting together with girlfriends and catching up on life. That's all.
And going to a new coffee shop. Yeah, that's amazing.
It's amazing. So, and it's so fun. I come out of those meetings so energized on, like, what other people are doing. And it's not necessarily that they've given me inspiration to go do something else, but I'm so excited for them. Like, the things that they're doing and trying to tap into or build or whatever. It's so exciting to hear what all of these people are doing. Yeah.
Everyone aims to help. Everyone aims to be like, hey, how can I help you? Do I know someone that can help you? And it's just such a good community. So
very empowering.
Yeah.
I would say.
If you're listening to this right now and you're in Minnesota and you're like, why don't I know about this? Make sure you're on our email list, because we always send the invites through there too. You don't have to be a member of 10th House to join these meetings. You can sign up for the Female Founders Collective email list and you'll get invites to those things too. So anyone can come. It's not just a 10th House thing. We just happen to be wanting to, like, be the chapter leader in there, and it gives us a reason to do it. So it's fun.
It is fun. And then the last one that we want to touch on a little bit, which we've talked about this on the podcast before, but is always just giving a little extra to your clients when you're working with them. And when I say that, Abby and I are classic over-delivers, and we just can't help it. We always just do a little extra something for our clients typically.
I'd say we do a lot extra sometimes, and we're trying to be better at doing a little extra.
Yeah, that's probably, you're probably.
I do it too. I think it's easier to see it from a design perspective, because you're like, look at all these mood boards I have. But also, like, have you seen my keyword research slides?
Yes.
There's like 15 of them sometimes. Like,
yeah, you definitely over-deliver. Like, the contract says 50 keywords, and she's like, here's 1,725.
Okay, it's not that much, but, you know, it could be. I mean, the contract I think says 50, and I rarely have less than 100. Like, it's a lot. And also, I say I go through 3 competitors, and I go through like 6 to 8. Like, it's hard.
Yeah, it really is hard. It's hard too, because you obviously, like, want to give your client the best of everything when you're working with them. You want the experience to be great. You want them to get the best SEO. You want them to get the best branding. And that requires sometimes more, maybe not more. It doesn't require more work. I think we just get so excited and so into it that we're like, oh my gosh, we have to show them all of this, and we have to do all of this for them. And like Abby said, we actually should, like, bring it back a little bit, because sometimes it can be detrimental because we're putting so much time into it, right? That, again, we're not focusing on our own brand, but it's doing those little things like giving, a few extra sub marks if I can, or giving a few extra keywords, that go above and beyond what the contract spells out is always a little nice surprise and delight for the client. And they're so appreciative of it at the end of the day. They're like, wow, you did that extra work for me. That's so great. I am so appreciative of that. Thank you.
Yeah. I think it's also just really embracing the uniqueness of each client, because contracts are really great to like hold guidelines and make sure that there are times where we can't over deliver because, something happened in our personal life, or schedules got changed, or just like we're just struggling with something else, like sometimes things happen. So you need a contract, you need something that gives you limits, because that's really important. But at the same time, there are other situations where we can over deliver and we can like embrace the uniqueness of the client. Like sometimes we work with a client who we have this really cool idea for like a pattern or an illustration, but it's going to take more work, but it's so perfect for them that we have to do it. And same thing goes with like keyword research or doing SEO research. Like sometimes we dig into 3 competitors, but there's so much more that I'm finding that I want to share with the client just to educate them on how these people are doing in the space. And if I have the time, I'm going to do it. So I think that's something where we just have the opportunity to really be unique and embrace that uniqueness of the client and why they came to us and give them the best experience possible.
Yeah, I think that's a really great way to put it, is just that unique experience with each client, because each client is so specific and so unique.
Yeah, for sure. So hopefully these little things, most of them are little, I'd say. Probably the biggest one is like hosting a local event. I get it. That's not.
If you can't host one, then start coming to some.
Yeah.
And then
at the same time, though, like it is little because we aren't planning anything for it. All we're doing is booking a time and a place, which is like sometimes can feel tough, but you book it and then you just show up. You just show up.
It doesn't have to be under some sort of a membership or anything like that. You can literally just find people in your neighborhood or people in your town or city and say, hey, calling all small biz owners, like, I just want to get to know people in Mingo. Let's meet at this coffee shop on Monday at 10.
Yeah. There's an Instagram message of Twin City entrepreneurs that someone invited us to, where we've gotten together with those group of people and met for coffee. And it's nothing fancy. It's just people on Instagram who found other people on Instagram that are local. And we're like all individually working in our own silos. Why don't we get out and go co-work someplace? So it can be, it doesn't have to be big. So yeah.
Super simple.
So take some of these, pepper them into your business if they feel right for you. I would say the Starbucks coffee is pretty much the easiest. Also, replying to email newsletters, pretty dang easy. So have a little fun adding these little things to your workbook.
If you like this episode, please be sure to share it with a friend and subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes dropping every Monday. Plus, if you haven't already, please go ahead and leave us a review and don't hesitate to share any new episode ideas. We absolutely love hearing from you and creating this content for you. See you next week.